early internet fundamentally changed how entertainment was consumed. Bands like Metallica, formed in an era of physical albums and analog technology, suddenly found their music moving online. It became digital, copyable, and endlessly shareable. That new era reshaped piracy too. No longer a fringe trade in copy tapes and DVDs, but something woven in to the online world. Piracy didn't start online, but with the internet, it went mainstream. And one of the first moments that shift was impossible to ignore was with the music website Napster, something Metallica famously railed against.
Metallica were inside telling a Senate Judiciary Committee that online music distributors were hijacking their tracks. Music chiefs say the entire industry is under threat from piracy.
The early response focused on deterrence, lawsuits, shutdowns, and public warning campaigns. That campaign, now one of the internet's favourite memes, didn't stop piracy. 2 decades on, it's become more widespread, more sophisticated, and far more normal.
So from a purely economic perspective, illegal streaming is a rational and value-maximizing response to a market that's become too expensive and too complicated.
So from a behavioural economics point of view, why do you think that is? Can you explain that a bit?
There are kind of 3 factors that can make illegal behavior make sense. The first one is that the incentives are completely asymmetric. The benefits are immediate and salient, so free content right now, while the costs are quite abstract and distant. There's the social element as well. When you know that everyone else is doing it, the moral boundaries start to blur, and behavior that in the past might seem like crossing a line will now feel more normal and more routine. There's the fairness element as well that might be the biggest driver. So people might not see it as stealing in the traditional sense, but rather as correcting an imbalance. So they might feel like they're being charged unfairly high prices for something that is a basic right, like watching sport, and so illegal streaming feels justified.
And those justifications are reflected in the data. Muso has been tracking illegal piracy activity since 2017. In Ireland, their figures show visits to piracy websites falling steadily up to 2020, with a notable dip during the pandemic when new film and TV releases slowed, before rebounding in the years that followed, peaking in 2023 at over 500 million visits and remaining high since. Muso's data also shows that when broken down further, films and TV shows make up around 71% of visits, while live sport generates more than 12%. In recent years, the emergence of the so-called dodgy box has coincided with that increase. Dodgy boxes, also known as IPTV, are internet-connected TV devices that give access to pirated content, including live sport. They're typically sold online through social media or messaging apps as low-cost subscription services, but the content they provide is illegal. The devices are designed to mimic legitimate streaming services that are familiar and easy to use. And when it looks like the real thing, does it stop feeling like a risk, or even like an illegal activity at all? Do you or anyone you know use dodgy boxes or illegal streaming?
I do illegally stream, yes.
I know 1 or 2 people who have dodgy boxes, like 1 or 2 of the lads who do dodgy boxes.
I don't approve of it. I think if you're going to want to watch something, you need to pay for the services.
I don't think it's necessarily justified. I guess it's there, it's available and easy to use. So
ease of access.
Ease of access.
Well, I think everyone should pay. Like, if you have to pay, you have to pay. But I know people can't afford it anymore.
So
I understand that.
Businesses thrive when people pay for the services. I just see it as theft, to be honest.
I can understand, I suppose, in terms of particularly sports rights, as it gets more fragmented and more subscriptions and even the streaming service as well. Cost of living crisis is inflation. I can sort of see where you could make the argument to get one.
Is so expensive nowadays to watch sport by the legal means because it's obviously behind a paywall on subscription services. I do think there's like almost Robin Hood element to it as well. So much of the offering is centred around the wealthiest sports, most obviously Premier League football. And again, it's hard to look at the wealth around that competition in particular and see the crazy salaries the players and managers are now commanding and feel like, what does my €120 a month, if I take that away, it won't really affect their bottom line? No, it won't. Maybe there'll be a reduction in salaries, but millionaire will remain millionaire. The people that will really be hurt by it are the sports and the competitions further down the food chain.
One service operating far from the wealth of elite football is Clubber, a streamer that broadcasts live coverage of more than 1,500 Club GAA matches every year. Its founder and CEO, Jimmy Doyle, says illegal streaming now accounts for a significant share of his potential audience.
We're conservatively thinking that we're in the 40% range right now. So that's into certainly hundreds of thousands of people in this country anyway. I'm a small business trying to get off the ground. We rely on the income that we get from subscribers to ultimately keep the service going. We have to pay obviously the commentators and the videographers who go out in all the weathers to actually deliver the game for us.
What are some of the solutions that you think are needed to maybe stem that growth or to reduce the impact on businesses like your own?
I suppose I can tell that any of the people who are using dodgy boxes now, that we will absolutely be doing everything in our control to try and disrupt their viewing experience over the next year. Outside of that, you know, there's larger organisations who are bigger, deeper pockets who will certainly be lobbying governments, etc., in the right way.
Major broadcasters and rights holders say piracy is bleeding money out of the industry. One group trying to tackle the issue is the Audiovisual Anti-Piracy Alliance, whose members include Sky and the Premier League.
What the pirates are doing is actually stealing someone's properties. We made a study that 17 million Europeans use illegal IPTV monthly. My main message is that they're consuming stolen content.
But for economists like Dr. Margaret Samahita, only focusing on the legal arguments misses why some people pirate in the first place.
Well, the solution is basically for the market to offer better value. This could mean rebundling, so offering more aggregated packages that reduce the need for multiple subscriptions and thereby reducing the mental load for consumers. But also from the behavioral side, changing the social norms and changing the perceived incentives can also help.
It's true, most of you probably wouldn't steal a car, or even one of these old TVs. But would you pirate a Club GAA match this weekend?